Hang on. I know we're live on YouTube. I'm waiting for the Facebook signal. I push play on both platforms at the same time. It always takes like a few seconds for each one to start. And we're live, finally, on both platforms, so I can start talking. I don't want to repeat myself anymore. Right on time, right on the dot. I clicked go live on YouTube at 10 seconds before 6:50. And then I clicked Facebook like immediately right after. Usually I wait for the signal on YouTube and then I jump to the other. That's why each live stream's like a minute apart. I decided that I would push both of them. So while the signal was coming through YouTube, I went to Facebook. Luckily, it didn't mess up, right? And I clicked go live now. And so both of them were signaling at the same time. So 6:50, so 6:49, 55 seconds was when I did like the Facebook one. And they were still loading right at 6:50. So exactly not right on dot, but a few seconds is not going to hurt anybody. But like a few seconds after 6:50 started, we were live, and here we are. And now I wasted a whole minute saying that, which was probably unnecessary, but I had to fill in the time somehow, so might as well. So yeah, welcome to our live stream, both old and new. We're glad you can join us. So wow. So yeah, we start right on time, which is not every single week that happens. It's always 6:51 or 6:53, but today it was 6:50. You can't always start at 00 seconds. So anyway, tried my best by starting 10 seconds early, and it was still loading 10 seconds later. And even when Facebook was ready, which I didn't look at the clock, but I'm guessing it was like 5 seconds past the time, 6:50, 5 seconds. Facebook immediately followed 5 seconds after, and that's why I said, okay, wait, YouTube, let me wait for Facebook on. We're like, so see. So anyway, I'm probably gonna do that for now on. When I push go live on YouTube, I'm not going to wait for the signal. I'm going to hurry and go live on Facebook. And then I'll just wait for both of them to register through my computer and then say, we're live. So, all right. No more wasting time talking about that. That's such a weird thing to talk about. Who cares? The live stream's on. That's all that matters. We don't need to worry about getting started if it's already starting. According to the YouTube time clock, so let's see. It's been 2 minutes and 30 seconds here and 2 minutes and 25 seconds here. So YouTube, you are 5 seconds late. Now let me check Facebook. I just realized I can actually check, huh? I didn't know that. So 2 minutes, let's see. 45 seconds. Okay, 52 minutes and 50 seconds. So, oh no, it's frozen. Okay, never mind. Okay, I can't. Okay, that was so bad timing. Let me try that again. My computer froze. Okay, right when it hits 53 minutes, and boom. Oh, 8 seconds behind. So see, even Facebook was only 3 seconds behind the YouTube version. So I didn't have to wait that long, like a whole half a minute or a minute or so, to say hi for both audiences because obviously I pushed go live right at the same time on both of them. I can't really do that. But after I pushed one click, I quickly pushed another click without waiting for the signal. So anyway, it was pretty risky. I could have lost my live stream, but I didn't. So there you go. Yeah, you guys are only 3 seconds apart, Facebook and YouTube. I started YouTube first because that's the recording that's going to stay on here forever. Facebook's not. So there you go. YouTube has 3 extra seconds more than Facebook does. And I'll probably do the same when we end the live stream tonight. I'll just, instead of saying, bye everyone on YouTube, and then talk to Facebook, bye everyone on Facebook. No, we usually end Facebook first. Bye everyone on Facebook, and then talk on YouTube. Bye everyone on YouTube. Instead of doing that, instead of saying bye twice, I'm going to say bye collectively and just push and end on both. See how that goes. That's going to be hard because usually when I push end, it wants to make sure you want to actually end the live stream. So it's a couple more clicks than starting. So that might not actually work. But, if it takes like, say, 6 seconds to end the YouTube live stream altogether, the YouTube one will be 9 seconds. Instead of 1 or 2 minutes, it will be 9 seconds longer than Facebook, which I think is better. And so anyway, then having YouTube, being way longer. Anyway, just want to keep it about the same. Okay, but we are not here to talk about how live streams work. We are not here to talk about any of that crap. We are here to talk about once upon a time. Let's be real here. Someone reacted to my photos. That's sweet of them. They like my photos. What photos do they like? Oh, I don't want to risk losing my live stream, so I won't click on them. Yeah, so yeah, people like my photos. Great to know. Wait, I can do that on my phone. I can look to see who's liked some of my photos on my phone. So yes, we are now 5 minutes in. Wow, time's already going. I already have the episode set up, so make sure you do too, so we can start on time. If you have the Disney Plus version, I have no idea what the timestamp is. Let me go check that out right now. I got pause it though. Pause it. All right. The timestamp is 44 minutes and 10 seconds if you have Disney Plus. I will repeat, 44 minutes and 10 seconds are left on the clock. So if you push the episode and rewind it a few more seconds, that's what it should be. There is no recap actually. After playing the first few seconds and pausing it, there's no recap. So anyway, yes, make sure you have 44 minutes and 10 seconds if you want to be synced with my live stream when I tell you to push play. For everyone on Hulu or DVD, it's something different. I know because they don't have Disney Plus credits. Disney Plus likes to add its own extra credits at the end. Don't worry about that. I'm sure you know to start. Just make sure, like on your version, that if you have a timestamp that tells you how many seconds you at least watched, make sure it stays 0. And so anyway, now that everyone hopefully has their episodes ready. We'll start right when it becomes 7. So we'll wait a few more minutes. Wait for more people to jump on this live stream if they can. Otherwise, we'll start without them if they're not here by 7, right? So far, no one's watching on YouTube. That's normal. Normally, we'll get more viewers as the live stream goes on, and people will pop in and out. Then we'll get more viewers throughout the week. Last week we had the lowest viewership out of all our live streams, so not a lot of people tuned in last week. That's disappointing. I didn't yet check to see if the viewership went up, but if I do check, let's see. Let me see who liked my photos first. Oh, okay. I made a missionary post. I got released from a mission prep calling, and so anyway, people are liking my photos about the post. All right, that's what the pictures were about. Now let me go to YouTube. Let's see, YouTube. My YouTube channel. Let's see. It says we're live right now, of course. Let's see. Most popular. How's that the most popular? Okay, that's live right now. All right. So, yes. So our lowest live stream is still 1 week later, 9 views, and it's episodes 3 through 5 last week. So last week's episodes were the lowest viewing I've ever had. Our highest one was the first 3 episodes of season 1, and that was 397. That's a lot of viewers to watch on a single night. That's our only live stream that's almost caught up to 400. And to be fair, it's been on for months, so it's had more viewership over time. But it had 200 throughout the week it was on before we did the next 3 episodes. So technically, it had 200 within the week. So episodes we watched last week only have 9 compared to the 200 the first one had. And then you have season 2 episodes 1 through 3. That's 120 views. Then you got 104. And then I'm just naming all the live streams that are Once Upon a Time related, not the ones that are Back to the Future or other stuff. Back to the Future live streams have higher viewers though. With part 3 almost coming in second place with season 1 episodes 1 through 3 of Once Upon a Time. Wow, Back to the Future part 3 almost got as popular as Once Upon a Time. So yeah, Once Upon a Time live streams alone, we went from 397 to 120 to 104, 73, 72, 61, 56, 52, 46, 44, 26, 25, 29, and 9. So mostly we've been staying around the 50s and 60s, and we dropped down to the 20s and 30s. And last week was the first week where we got less than 10 viewers, which makes me a little upset. So come on, guys, we can do better. A few more live streams, say 36, 35, 23, 27. Anyway, so that's about all of them. So anyway, and then last week was 9. That's the first time we only got 9 viewers on a Once Upon a Time live stream. I had other live streams that almost had no viewers, but they're not Once Upon a Time related. They were way when I was a kid, and I didn't care about viewership back then. Now we're doing a live stream of Once Upon a Time, and the lowest rating, the lowest episodes watched was last week's. So come on, guys, come join my live stream. Stop um, missing out on the fun. Tonight's episodes are very important to the show, so I would hate if you missed them. And so please watch live with me tonight. If not, and you can't, then watch it later this week. Help the viewership. Come on. You can watch it later this week at least, before we cover next week's episodes. So anyway, without further ado, it is now 7 o'clock. It is time to get started. It's 7:01 now as I say that, so we're a minute late. We were going to start on time. I got you guys all ready to start on time, and I got too distracted. I remember seeing the clock. It was 6:59, and I was like, oh, we got one more minute. Let me tell you a few more views. I should have not rambled on about that, because that obviously took 2 minutes instead of one. Or I could have started the episode 1 minute early, but oh well. It is what it is. We lost a minute. We'll still get to watch all 3 episodes. Let's try not to get further behind by starting like right now. It is 7:01 and 30 seconds overtime. I mean, not overtime, past the time we should be starting the show. So without further ado, we will get started. And if your timestamp is at 0, or if you're using the Disney Plus version and there's 44 minutes and 10 seconds left, I'm going to push play in 3, 2, 1, now. Snow White's on the run from the evil queen. If you read my description of this week's episode, this is a Little Mermaid episode. We have a Belle and Storybrooke episode that follows, and then their last chance to save Henry will conclude this night. So, Snow White goes for her death into the ocean. She'd rather drown than, you know, be killed by these knights or took into the queen. Unfortunately, who saves Snow from drowning? Ariel. Look at the thumbnail on the pic on the Once Upon a Time title sequence. It's Ariel. She she has more dyed red hair in the title sequence than she does in in this actual episode, the actor. But that's Ariel, Little Mermaid, on Once Upon a Time. Did you expect that to come on Once Upon a Time? There's a lot of Disney shows that haven't showed up on the show that will show up eventually, so prepare yourselves. There will be some recent characters too, eventually. They'll add more Disney characters later on. That's Emma's magic. She was so mad at Regina for teaching her to use dark magic that she made a fire. Emma's using it for light, though. She doesn't want to use it for dark. She has a point. Yeah. Snow and Charming are worried about her magic and turning her evil. So it looks like Hook. It looks like Hook did tell them and didn't keep it a secret for his love for Emma. Hook is a good pirate, guys. I was just teasing about that last week. About is he going to tell everyone that Neil's alive, or is he going to be a pirate? He chose to tell everyone. Hook's a hero, Pan's a villain. But Neil is alive, guys. We all know it. That's the Little Mermaid. Ariel did rescue Prince Eric from drowning, and now she rescued Snow White. That was not put in the movie. They don't do crossovers in Disney. Yeah. Disney movies like to leave out the crossover parts of their fairy tales. That's what Once Upon a Time's for. So Ariel met Snow White before she went to Ursula and became a human. Yeah, Snow White, I don't trust you. You caused an evil queen to go evil for telling her mother about her boyfriend. You don't keep secrets. I mean, you were 10. I don't know. You don't keep secrets as adults either. You like spoiling things. That's going to be a problem since she already shared a kiss with Hook and started a love interest with Hook. If you guys ever ship, it's called Captain Swan. That's going to be hard with Neil being alive and being the original father of Henry and already married Emma before Huck came along. You're eating Rumple's breakfast. Okay. Ouch. Yeah. Has Rumple forgiven his father like Neil has forgiven Rumple and Henry has forgiven Neil? It runs in the family. I said that multiple times. Funny, Belle will get a new child eventually in the show. Not now, but Pan has a point. Go back to Belle. Start a new family. Blah blah blah. He's not gonna give up Henry. He's gonna save his grandson. Yeah, Regina's out. She's off to go save Henry on her own. I don't think that will end well. Just because it's too good to be true doesn't mean it is. That's true. You could check. And if Pan's lying, then at least you'll know for next time. We all know he's not. Though he could put a fake Bellfire and trick, people into thinking he's alive when he really is, but the message of tricking is to think that he's not. They could do that and keep his alive a mystery, but they don't do that, obviously. They do find Neil. Yeah, it's just silverware. It's not valuable. Prince Eric. Part of your world. Wish I could be part of your world. What does Ariel have to do with the Neverland arc? Well, there's a reason. Who else wants to see the world? Belle kind of does too. Belle and Ariel would be great friends. Agrabah. Little nod to Aladdin, who hasn't showed up in this show yet. Ariel and Prince Eric. Fortunately, Once Upon a Time has a little twist. This isn't just the Disney characters you remember. They because it's a TV show, not everyone can live happily ever after until the series finale. So there's these cliffhangers that's going to ruin the ending of every fairy tale that we've seen so far, except for the happiness that occasionally comes around in Storybrooke. Flashbacks don't end happy usually. Yeah, what's Regina's plan now? To ruin the Little Mermaid story? The game's about to get interesting. Aww. Rumple and his past with Peter Pan and and losing his father. There's a past there that we haven't uncovered yet that we will cover tonight if you stick around for the last episode. This is a good episode too, though. So for those who are here tonight, thank you for coming because there's a lot of secrets that were not hinted at in the show that will be revealed tonight in this episode alone. Then we just got an episode 7, which doesn't do much, and then episode 8 has big plot reveals coming. Well, well, well. Fake Belle and Rumple are talking. I'm gonna see the comments really quick. No comments. Okay. Oh, someone's choking her. Pan's shadow was pretending to be Belle this whole time. We all kind of knew that. Kiss took. Hmm. Yep. Mom quoted that a little while back, and I couldn't recall the episode, and now I can. Season 3, episode 6. Hashtag Ariel if you believe in mermaids. 3 hours before you lose your legs. The sea goddess Ursula. Hmm. Hey, show respect to the Greek gods. Ursula was a villain, though. She deserves to be cursed at in some ways. Ursula's one of the evil goddess of the seas. But anyway. Whoa. Ursula. So who does that sound like? I'm not gonna spoil. I'm not gonna spoil. But that actor is someone else. You could probably recognize their voice. Except Pan's not. Never mind. He's not a teenager. I mean, he is, but he's been 14 for a century or for who knows how long, right? And and so technically he's older. He just hasn't aged. His body hasn't aged past the 14-year-old. It's kind of funny. He's not really a smug teenager. He's an old slash teenager. A, a billion-year-old in a 14-year-old body. Can't see the future here, Rumpel. You're just gonna have to trust your plan. You can only see your past and your present, as the writer said in the special a while back. Oh, Regina lost character there. Trying to act like Ursula, and then, would you be interested? Going back to her evil queen form. Not form, but voice. We knew it was her from the get go of her Ursula voice. So we never saw the real Ursula in the Little Mermaid. I'm sorry to break the news to you. It was just Regina playing her. So sorry if you were expecting another character to show up, a villain. Sorry you lost. This is where things start to get very important for this episode. Not as important as the one we'll watch later, but this one has secrets. Exactly, as Snow said, darkest secret. True, there are some things we don't want to tell others, and our secrets are ours, right? And if we tell people, it could hurt relationships. That's what this episode is used for. Really, we're going to hear secrets about these characters, things that we've heard of as an audience and the characters haven't, but also things that the audience hasn't even thought about from the first few seasons. So, secrets are going to be a surprise to you guys. Some of them we already know, but there's one particular secret, two maybe, um that was not hinted on. That I think we should that you get. This is why I'm hoping a lot of you are listening tonight for these 3 episodes. What's more important, Snow White's happy ending or Ariel's? Snow White has a fin; she can't run. Uh-oh. Hurry, run, Ariel. Take the bracelet off. Whoa! What an escape plan Ariel had there. She chose her friend over Eric. That's not what that wasn't in the movie. She lost Eric to save Snow White. We need a hero, don't we? Snow White. I can fly. I can fly. Where's your pixie dust? Use pixie dust. No, this is better. The secrets is better. Listen, I'll be quiet. Listen, secrets. Here we go. That was just a kiss. That's a secret. How are you gonna fight for Emma though if she's already in love with a married man? This is one that was not revealed in the show. So listen. Boom. Secret exposed. Snow wants to have another baby because she lost the chance of raising her first daughter due to a curse and she wants a second chance. We know this one. We know this secret. We know this secret. Just watch everyone's reaction though. The heroes did not know this. We knew this, but the heroes didn't. Just the shock of their reaction is what makes this interesting. Okay, one more secret left. Okay, they're able to cross the bridge, but as you see, when Emma tries to break down the cage that Rumple's trapped, that Bellfire is trapped in, I mixed him with his own father. Bellfire is trapped in. Emma's gonna have to tell another secret to open the cage. One more secret. This is a secret that you should never tell your loved ones. Your wife, don't wish they were. You'll see. This is a secret that would probably break most people's hearts, but not Neil, luckily. Never wish that on a loved one. Do never wish your wife was dead so that you wouldn't have to face your pain all over again. If you have a spouse who fakes their death and you find out they're alive, don't ever wish they were dead for real so that you wouldn't have to so you can avoid the pain again. I mean, you have to put it in Emma's perspective. It was pretty hard how Neil left him the first time. Neil's the only one who knows how to get off this island. Hook her that. It's a competition. Love triangle here. Anyone who doesn't love triangles, it will be short. Don't worry. Snow Eye's giving Charmin the silent treatment. I was going to say that, but we moved back to the flashback already. So the longer you wait, the longer he, the longer you wait, the more chances he might leave before you get there. You better get going. Eric! Oh no, her voice. It's gone. Her voice was taken in the movie, but she eventually got it back before it was too late. There he goes. He's leaving. He doesn't even know you're there because you don't have a voice. He needs to look down. Aww. That's the worst pain ever. Thanks a lot, Regina. You ruined Ariel's life. Hmm. Regina. Oh my goodness. She literally used the movie title word. Time to swim back home, little mermaid. Regina's gonna get what's coming to her. Look at that. It's the real Ursula, the real goddess of the sea. Oh no, she could choke you to death with those tentacles. She's more powerful than you, Regina. She can kill you before you can rip her heart out. You better not be pretend to be Ursula ever again. And that's the only time we'll actually see the real Ursula, her threatening Regina. That's the only scene. So I'm sorry if you wanted to see more Ursula, but you won't. That wraps up that flashback, and it's not as happily ever after as the Disney movie, is it? Maybe in Storybrooke, Ariel will get a better happy ending. And speaking of mermaids, she's here in the present. Yep, Regina and Ariel have history. We just saw it. She's not an evil queen anymore. You can trust her, Ariel. Eric's in Storybrooke. Ooh! We haven't seen Storybrooke since season 2. Wow, that's the end of that episode. We have not seen Storybrooke since season 2, guys. Storybrooke is like the center of the show. Like besides Emma being the principal character, the main character, Storybrooke is the center town where the story takes place. For once, the story's not taking place in Storybrooke, and so we haven't. So it's usually in every single episode. Even if they travel to New York, you have some characters. You have some characters. Feel free to push the next episode, but don't start it yet. Disney Plus's version is 44 minutes and 8 seconds, so make sure that's what it is when you start the episode. Everyone else, make sure it's at 0 seconds. But before we get started, we never seen Storybrooke in a while. Cause let me see. On July 20th, we watched the end of season 2. That was the last time we saw Storybrooke. And we skipped a week because I was on vacation and I decided to show you my merchandise, right? And all the stuff I found since we started our marathon. And it's more than a coincidence that we started around this time. That was the 27th. And then when we started season 3 on August 3rd, that was the first 2 episodes of the Neverland arc. Not 3 because we had a Once Upon a Time special as our 3rd episode. And then we watched episodes 3 through 5 last week on August 10th. And now it's August 17th. And we haven't seen Storybrooke. Like last time we saw Storybrooke was July 20th, remember? So, we haven't seen Storybrooke in almost a month. 27 days to be no, there's 31 in July, huh? So 28 days to be exact. So, 3 days, this Wednesday is going to be August 20th. That will mark exactly 1 month since we saw Storybrooke. Except we will see Storybrooke in this next episode because this is a Belle-centered episode. And instead of Pam pretending to be Belle, we're going to see the real Belle. Remember, they left Belle behind on the ship while they went to save Henry. And so Belle was tasked to do something. And we haven't seen what she was supposed to do after the heroes left on Hook's ship. So we're now going to see what Belle's been doing all this time in Storybrooke. In this next coming episode, we will get we will still get to see the progression of saving Henry in Neverland. but it's going to be mostly focused on Storybrooke. So keep that in mind. This episode will also have no flashback. You know, last time we had an episode with no flashback was season 2, episode 8. You can also say season 3, episode 1 really has no flashback, but it did have one at the beginning with Emma giving birth to her son. Even though that didn't last the entire episode, it was just that first scene. But you know, completely no flashbacks was season 2, episode 8. That was the last time we had completely no flashbacks. This time we have completely no flashbacks, but we kind of do actually. We have a flashback. You know, it's just the first scene. We have a flashback of what Belle was doing. You know, um, while Rumple left to go save Henry, right? But that's going to be covered in one scene. And then as we jump back and forth between Neverland and Storybrooke, it's going to be what Belle's doing in the present day. So you know everything she's done over because Regina just said it in the episode we just watched. You know, she's been camping with the Charmings for a week and getting nowhere. So you know, in real life it was more than a week, right? But in the show's timeline, it's they've been in Neverland for a week in the course of 7 episodes. So for you know everything that Belle did in 1 week is explained in one scene, and then the Storybrooke scenes are meant to replace the flashback in this next episode. So after the first scene, everything isn't in the present from here on out. So, and just for this episode, we will get a flashback in the next episode after. But yeah. So so yes, this is going to be a present course focused episode, and it's going to be focused on Storybrooke and what Belle's been doing. We will get to see Neverland scenes still, but it's going to be more focused on Belle. So yes, and so Ariel and Belle, we're going to have another princess crossover. Remember Snow White and Cinderella? We're going to have a Belle and Ariel crossover, which is interesting because if you talk about the main 6 princesses, not counting Mulan and Pocahontas, you know, the 6 that were in the early 90s and late 80s and 50s and 30s. We've seen Snow White, we've seen Sleeping Beauty, we've seen Cinderella, we've seen Belle, we've seen Ariel. Now the only person we haven't seen from the Renaissance era is well, and we did see Mulan. Pocahontas will never show up in the show. Not a spoiler if she never shows up, right? Um, so the only one we haven't seen yet that will be in the show is Jasmine out of the Renaissance princesses. So you know, we've seen all the princesses in the show except for Jasmine. So anyway, she will show up later in the show. It's not going to be for a long time, but that is coming. We're going to start the next episode. So now I've been ranting on for too long, but I just wanted to say that the next episode is going to be a Storybrooke episode, and Ariel's on a task to find a weapon that will defeat Pan once and for all. And she's going to get help from Belle, obviously. And yeah, you know, and it will be up to these girls to help save everyone in Neverland. So I guess without further ado, we'll get started. But yeah, Little Mermaid did not end happily ever after like the Disney version, did it? Well, let's see if Ariel will find her prince and live happily ever after in Storybrooke. If she didn't live happily ever after in the Enchanted Forest, maybe she will in Storybrooke. So let's find out. All right. So hopefully your timestamp's at 0, and and you're ready to push play. Just wait until I say the now. Okay. 3, 2, 1, now. Five days ago. Little flashback to season 2. Aw. There's our heroes going to Neverland. That was way back in July when we saw that. And now they've been in Neverland for the past few weeks. Little nod to where we were before we shown up in Neverland. Neverland, that's where. Yep. Greg and Tamara. They will get mentioned a lot in this episode. Aren't we, aren't we glad those got killed off? We're tired of those. They weren't as good villains as Pan is. There's Belle, our hero. Gotta stop more people from coming to Storybrooke. They're almost there. Oh, there goes the protection spell. Are these guys gonna get in before it hits the ground? You better hurry. Drive faster. We don't want more people coming to town, though. Oh no, hurry! Oh! Right in the trunk of their car. Whoa! They lost their entire trunk. They barely made it in town. At least no one else can come to Storybrooke now that there's a protection spell there. Oh, that was close. They could have been fried or cut in half. Oh boy, that would have been too violent, actually. Half a body and sort of a lot of blood and bones, but anyway. Well, they made it in. So now now we're fast forward to today. So we won't see that flashback again. That's all that happened in the past week. Now we're gonna see what Belle's been doing in present day. Trust her, Ariel. Regina's not evil anymore. She's good on her word this time. Yep. Pan, you gotta hurry and ease up your game because time's running out, and these heroes are gonna save Henry whether you like it or not. Good always wins. You're gonna have to time up your timetable exactly. So Pan's shadow is rarely with him. That's easy to capture a shadow if he's not by Pan himself. Time for the rescue mission to begin. We've been at this for 3 weeks now. It's a good thing this is Dwarfs! That's not funny. You want Snow and Charming to come back alive. You think there's chaos when Snow and Charming are in town? That is not true. It's not their fault. Oh, yeah. He saw a mermaid. Hey, they're coming back. They're coming back. You just gotta help Ariel out. Belle. Yeah. The home office. That's what Greg and Tamara said. Ooh. Honestly, guys, do you think these people are better than Greg and Tamara? I think so. If not, tell me why you like Greg and Tamara better than those two boys. Belle misses Rumple. He's coming home soon. Just be patient. Yep. No shirt, no shoes. No. True. Ruby was not modest back in season 1. So why are you giving Ariel a hard time? She's a mermaid. Mermaids don't wear much clothing. Messenger. So So, what I was saying about Neverland, I don't remember actually. Oh yeah, so what they need to do in Neverland. Mhm. Yep. He can't say it in front of Pan. Mhm. Yep. It's up to you, Belle, to save everyone. And Henry. Snow is giving Charming the silent treatment for not telling him that he was on his deathbed earlier. Emma and Snow both have their problems. Yeah. Love triangle for Emma is her problem. Snow White is giving Charming the silent treatment for not letting him know he was gonna die. Yep, you need to put a lot of effort, Pan, if you want to win Henry over. So, so in order to get off the island, they have to capture Pan's shadow. Once they do that, they can use Tink to help them sneak into the camp, get Henry, and get out. That's the plan. This episode, that's what they're going to do. They're going to capture the shadow. Next episode, they're going to try to save Henry. We're almost we're almost through with this Neverland arc. Almost. It's 11 episodes though, so episode 8 is not the end of the Neverland arc. There's going to be other things going on, but we're almost there because next week's episodes will be 9, 10, 11. So that is awkward, Hook. Telling Neil didn't hear you, so you decide to bring it back up that you kissed Emma? That's weird. Do not kiss a married woman. You didn't know he was alive, though. That's true. Mm-hmm. Time to break the tradition. No one's ever made it out of there alive. We're gonna break that tradition. Trap Pan Shadow once and for all. Looks like you found the box Grandpa was talking about. The only way Pan can die is if Rumple dies, but there are fates worse than death. Oh! Yes, they barely made it in before that protection field landed, so haha. Nice try. Keeping people out. Don't kill them. Don't demonstrate. Plot twist. Back to Neverland. It's been there before. Make sure Henry doesn't find out what you're up to. It's all part of Plan's game. He wants Henry to find out. Snow. Silent treatment. That's what I wanted you guys to worry about last week if he was going to keep it to himself, but he didn't. And they saved Neil, and they know he's alive. Hmm. Good form. Remember that episode? Hook's brother? See, Hook is playing fair. He's not going to. It's not a contest. Yep. We're focused on saving Henry right now. Save the love triangle for later. And Hook, at least Hook's not gonna play trickery on Emma. He's gonna try to win her fair and square. By stepping back and letting Neil do his part. And if Emma doesn't fall for him, then Hook can take over. Uh huh. I know. Love triangles, I've been told lately, are not a lot of fun, but luckily the show doesn't focus on things like that, and it won't last long. Not spoiling anything. I've said that a lot throughout the season. I'm not going to tell you what happens because then that's really spoiling. But I'm teasing that it won't last long. So if you're going to be sick between Hook and Neil, don't worry. That's smart. The fans would cut through the ropes. The chair fell over. Of course. Ouch. Ouch. Well, at least they're free now. Hmm. Yep. Yep. The mines where the diamondite was, or the trigger that would destroy Storybrooke. Hmm. Hmm. Fine. No more silent treatment. Ouch. He got you there, Charming. So who wants to spend another? Oh, yeah. You need to believe in each other, not just yourself. But anyway, who wants to survive dodging poison arrows and dodging Lost Boys? That would be hard life to live. Doesn't mean we're gonna say goodbye to Snowy and Charming if that's what you're thinking. All right. Welcome to the 21st century. Light it with the electrical match. Guys, stop fighting over Emma. Stop fighting for this. Emma can take care of herself. She doesn't need. She's not a damsel in distress. If anyone lights the candle, it should be Emma. Oh no, there's more than one shadow. Which one is Pan? You got to find out which one's Pan. Uh oh. Stop protecting Emma. She's not a damsel in distress. She'll find. She'll find one. She'll fight it. Don't go. Fight. Magic. Emma has magic. Haha. Whoa. You did it. You captured Pan's shadow and all the shadows with it. She got lucky. If she caught the wrong shadow, it would have not been good for her. You know what happened to Greg Mendel when his shadow was taken from him? He died. Worse than pulling your heart out. Oh, yes, Emma's magical. We all know that. She did it. She got Pan's shadow. Now they have to. Now all we have to do is find Tink and save Henry. And there's only 10 episodes left. I mean, 10 not 10 episodes. 10 minutes left. Excuse me. 10 episodes. Oh no, we're gonna be in Neverland for a long time. No, 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 no. Don't worry. 10 minutes left. Ah, boy, can I not talk? Speaking of Storybrooke, run while you have the chance, and they're knocked out. Yes, smart. Kick the gun away. Kick the gun away. Ooh, plot twist. Yep. Yes. Listen. Shh. Oh, John and Michael. Remember them from season too when Bellfire was adopted by the Darlings? And now they're adults. And Wendy is still a child. Wendy's no longer the older sibling who tells them stories now. John and Michael will have to tell Wendy stories. Uh huh. You're still a prisoner, but that doesn't mean you can't come out and play. Okay. Well, Pen's too busy focused on Henry and getting away from the heroes to kill Wendy right now, so they have time. Do you remember when they put Neil in a cage and they said put him next to the other one? That's who was the other cage was. I was like, I know who it is, but I'm not going to spoil. Now you know it's Wendy. The plot lines are coming together. The plot holes are filling up, which means it's almost time for our epic conclusion. Except for one thing. How was Rumple abandoned? And what does Peter Pan have to do with it is going to be our next episode's focus. And I want, hopefully, as much people in it as possible to watch that episode. It's 8:25, and there's about 7 minutes left of this, so we're getting there. Bum 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 bum. Bum 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 bum. Henry, it's all trick. Poor Pan, how dare you torture Wendy like that? Into lying. Mm-hmm. Regina is not interested in Belle at all. Only Rumple is. I think Eric likes you for who you are, Ariel. Don't need to hide your mermaid secret. Mhm. Regina didn't want to agree to it. I don't care about Wendy. All I care about is Henry. Aw, cute. Now it's time to defeat Pam once and for all. Next episode's going to be an exciting one as they take one final attempt to save Henry. Mhm. Exactly. Exactly. Henry. So, talk about a love triangle. If she has to be with someone, it's none of those. The best place to be if you're in a love triangle trap, just choose none of them. Choose your own child if you have one. T- Tinkerbell doesn't know him as Neil. There you go. Finally. Finally, we don't have to convince her or anything. She agrees. Okay. Time to use Tinkerbell and get Henry home. Aw. Neil, no time for talking. More time for fighting. Yeah. Yes, let's get Henry back. The battle to save Henry is a. Unfortunately, we can't do that in this episode because there's only like a minute left. And it's 8:30. People are probably joining right now. We're just finishing the last minute of we're just finishing the last minute of an episode. We'll start episode 8 momentarily. Yeah. Pan, stop manipulating Henry. Yep, we're still on. Yeah. Oh, Henry, no, don't do it. Uh-oh, Henry's up for it. Oh no, what is Pan gonna do to him? Gotta find out in the next episode, don't we? Wow. So, all right, that leads us right into the next episode. He's gonna take Henry to School Rock, and then the real battle will begin with the heart of the truest believer and Peter Pan. All right. So before we start the next episode, 44 minutes and 5 seconds, right? Make sure that's what it says, and then for everyone else, make sure you haven't played a single second. And just be clear, we do watch recaps, so make sure you're exactly at 0 seconds. Anyway, here we go. The battle is on. So, everyone's facing the aftermath of all their secrets in the Echo Cave, right? Of saving Neil, and it's not going good. Snow White gave Charming the silent treatment. Eventually, she got over it, and they had a big apology. Hopefully, Snow will forgive Charming. How's he going to get off this island, though? We don't know. Everything will be found out in this next episode. Rumpel, who left in the very first episode to leave the heroes on their own. Rumpel has teamed up with Regina. Together, they called upon Ariel to help get a box, which Bellen and Ariel were able to achieve. Fortunately, John and Michael, now we know who they are. John and Michael, who are Wendy's brothers, and now they're older than Wendy because they aged, and Wendy stayed in Neverland. And so that's kind of weird. Imagine your younger sibling suddenly older than you. Anyway, they try to destroy the box, but Belle and Ariel stop them and convince them that they have a chance at winning. Unlike past times, so many people have tried to defeat Peter Pan before and they failed. This time we have a winning chance, and we all know good always wins, especially when it's on television. So they have to succeed, right? They can't fail like other hero before them. Anyway, they go back to Ariel takes the box back to Neverland, and now they have a chance to defeat Pan without killing Rumpel in the process. And then lastly, the love triangle going on with capturing the shadow. Emma fortunately finally made a decision not to be with any of them, not her ex-husband and not the Hook she possibly loves. And so anyway, she's just focused on saving Henry. No time for love triangles. And so anyway, yes, they finally putting all that aside, they finally were able to capture Pan's shadow. So now they have a chance to leave the island, and they met up with Tinkerbell, and now she's going to help them sneak into Pan's camp. And so here we go. Let the battle begin. Oh, and Pan's taking Henry to Skull Rock. So here we go. Starting the next episode. This is a big plot twist. The biggest plot twist in cinema history. The biggest plot twist in Once Upon a Time. It's because of cinema theaters that this plot twist even exists. So find out what movie I'm talking about. And as for now, without spoiling, let's get in with the show. The biggest plot twist of the season. And I don't know if it's the best plot twist, but it's one of the biggest ones of the entire show. So anyway, get ready to watch this episode with us. And as we start, it's at 8:36, so sorry for the few minute delay for people who are just joining us for this episode. 3, 2, 1, now. Here we go. This is a great episode to start the night off. To end the night off. Father. Remember, Rumple had a father who abandoned him as well. He was a coward. The seer, remember her? Your undoing. He has to kill Henry if he wants to stay. If he wants to be reunited with his son. Uh-oh, Henry. Oh no. Henry, don't listen to Pan. We're finally gonna find out what happened with Rumple's father and Pan, and when he was a child. Ouch. Imagine someone saying that to you. You'd be better off without your parents. Ouch. We're finally getting the flashback everyone's been waiting for. Rumple. I like that. Rumple's father. We're finally getting the backstory that was hinted at since season 2. Since we first found out he was abandoned by his own father in New York. And then it got later hinted back at in Neverland. And to the point where people saying, what did happen between you and your father? Peter Pan destroyed my father," Rumpel said. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Pan, no! Do not destroy our boy. Time to save Henry once and for all. I mean, that is Rumpel's son, so all due respect, Regina, you don't want to be rude. Mhm. Family drama. He's not telling him that Neil thinks he's here to kill Henry. You're keeping that out so Regina can be on your side. Hmm. Yep. Well, now Regina knows. Regina didn't know Neil was alive. She thought it was a trick. Now she knows. Everyone knows Neil's alive. No more secrets of Neil's death. Oh, Ron Paul, all he wants is to be with his father. He doesn't want to be alone. Whatever happened to his father? We'll find out. Finally, the flashback that was hinted at since episode 1 when Felix said the things we haven't thought about in years have the ability to make us cry. This is what's going to make you cry tonight. Go to your beds and cry this week for what this episode reveals before we end the night. Just Rumple and Regina, guys. Relax. Pandora's box. Oof. Oof. Secret's out, Rumple. Exactly. Oh. Oof. He technically does that. He spins straw into gold. Hmm. Well, you shouldn't leave family behind, right? I mean, there's unless you have an abusive father or something, I guess that makes sense. Or if he's not as loving but kind. They don't trust him because of a seer prophecy. Oof. So you better not use magic rumple because Neil could trap you in there just like that. Hmm. We're about to see if he's telling the truth or not. Peter Pan destroyed my father. Who did he marry? Who did Rumple's father even marry? Who would marry a coward like that? Didn't the ladies tell you not to bring your father with you? Because that's a burden. Special. What's something special to you? Oh, I mean, you can only go back. I mean, you can only go back so many generations. But now, even Peter Pan's, even not Peter Pan, even Rumple's father, um, Even Rumple's father, the place is real. Even Rumple's father was so not abandoned, but in a way sold slash abandoned by his own father when he was sold to a blacksmith and he was forced to be treated like a maid. So that's kind of a sad life. But unlike Rumple's tragedy, uh, his father's tragedy is her father's tragedy. Her father's sorry, I'm not listening. Yeah. Ooh. With look at the son being the father. You have to listen to your son because you abandoned him. That's almost as bad as being abusive. And so, if you want to win his trust back, you got to listen to your son and no more deals. Hands. Yep. Yes. Stop trading swords and get Henry. Time to save Henry. Except Henry's not there. Pan and Henry are going to Skull Rock. They already left. Wendy's doing that on purpose. um, unlike Rumple's father, Rumple regretted leaving Bay and came back for him and didn't you know didn't betray him or abandon him, or if he did, he repented for it. Versus um Rumple's father never regretted, and Rumple's father never regretted leaving his son, and he had a rougher childhood. He got sold to a blacksmith and had a rougher life than the way Rumple grew up. So, unlike Rumple's childhood, looks like Rumple's father is worse. Oh, speaking of, it's better than saying that your father died than saying that he abandoned him. Rumple, ouch! Hearing that from someone Neil likes. Bayfire from the season 2 flashbacks. Cake. You're gonna get sick, Rumple. Ooh. Father and son having fun, but who's watching from a distance? Pan's shadow. What's going to happen to Rumpel's father? Whoa, Rumpel, 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 don't torture a little child. Ouch. Yep. Boom. Uh-oh. If Pan lives, Henry will die. If Pan becomes immortal, Henry will die. Plot twist. Nah, yeah, we already knew that. The plot twist, though, is that he's taking Henry to School Rock to get his heart, where no one can stop him and watch, watch what's happening. We're down to the final moments. Time for saving Henry is running out. You gotta get him before you gotta save him before Pan gets his heart and Henry dies. Uh-oh. Protection spell, that will slow them down for sure. They found a way. Bring some of the water to keep Charming alive, and then Rumpel will find a cure before that water runs out. Hmm. Rumpel's like, they don't trust me. How am I going to help save Henry without my magic? He couldn't use magic on the Lost Boys. He had to use Regina. He had to let Regina do it. Mm-hmm. That's what happens to all Disney characters, main characters whose fathers say they're promised to come back and they never do. Elsa and Anna's parents, and a bunch of other parents. Ariel's mom, Belle's mom. Parents die on this show, especially if they belong to main characters. Only die in Disney movies, I mean. Snow White's mother died, and her father. What's gonna happen to Rumple's father? Uh oh. There goes the pixie dust. Here comes the shadow of Peter Pan, who actually talks. Didn't know that. Here he comes. There he is. And the shadow takes him. Oh no. Uh oh. What happened to him? Still trying to save Henry. Here we go. We only got 15 minutes left of this episode. A lot can go down in 15 minutes. Neil, come on. He's your father. In the end of the day, you gotta trust him. Regina, what is up? Oof. Yep. Yep. But if you don't come through, Regina's gonna really put a number on you. Hmm. Making eclipse. That doesn't happen a lot around these parts. That's rare. You need to get sunnables glasses, eclipse glasses, sunglasses, not sunglasses, but glasses that allow you to look at the sun without blinding yourself. And Neil's watching Emma use magic because he's never seen her use magic before. Ever since they found him in New York, Emma hasn't used much magic, and anytime she did, to save Storybrooke, Neil wasn't around because he fell through a portal. So it's kind of cool seeing Neil watch Emma use magic for the first time. Mm. And what are you keeping from Henry? Well, we know it's your heart, but it's Henry's heart. We know he's dying, but what's he up to now? Oh, it's his little doll. Maybe we'll see what happened to his father. Yep, only it's a place where children can never grow up. It's not for adults. Why isn't there a Neverland where adults never grow old? There's something you could have done. But it was meant for kids, of course. Mm. So that's why you abandoned Rumple, because you can't be the father Rumple needs you to be. You'll just go back to your old ways of cheating and stealing money. Yeah. As long as you have a child, you'll never be a boy. Because children can't have children. Only parents and grown-ups can have children. Hmm. You were never meant to be a father. Plot reveal. Ready? Ready? This is what I wanted you to be here for. Peter Pan, Rumple's father. The Luke moment where you say, "No, Luke, I am your father." Ho ho ho! The dark side. Your parent was all along part of the dark side and not the light. It's like finding out that your own father is Satan, and now that there's drama there. So anyway, speak of the devil, Peter Pan himself. I am your father moment. That was the biggest plot twist that ever revealed in cinemas in back in the day, in Star Wars day. And it's the biggest one of the at least biggest ones of Once Upon a Time overall. In this season and this arc alone as well. I made you try to watch this episode all for that reveal. You mean my great grandson? Henry's your great grandson. If Henry's Rumple's grandson, it's your great grandson, Peter Pan. I have great grandma still alive. Not everyone has great grandparents, but I do. And then when I was a baby, I had a great great grandma still alive. So imagine if Pan's father was still here alive. That would be crazy. Talk about 5 generations. except except the fifth generation doesn't ever show up in this show. Fifth generation doesn't ever show up in this show. Hmm. Uh-oh. The box is not working. Sorry, I was quiet for a while because I got text messages I need to respond to. Nope. Pan switch them. Rumple has a fake. Uh-oh. You stole it from Ariel. Hmm. Oh no, instead of trapping Pan, you got a taste of your own magic, Rumple. You're trapped. Now you're trapped in the vortex of evil, the greatest person. It's supposed to trap the greatest evil. You should put the double in there. But Rumple's not it. They captured the wrong person. Uh-oh. Well, they have 8 minutes. No, 6 minutes to get him out. Hmm. Peter Pan was the name of the doll, in which Rumple's father put that name upon himself after his child's doll. And see, he can't have Rumple there because that will remember that he has a child. That will remind him that he has a child and he has to believe that he's young. And he can't believe that he's young if he has a child. So if he wants to unbelieve that he's old and crippled, he has to get rid of his son. So that's why he abandoned him for selfish reasons, though. He regretted Rumple regretted leaving his son the moment after he abandoned him, and the only thing you could think of is getting back to his son. Where Peter Pan didn't think about Rumple at all, just thought about his youth. Youth, magically you allow him to stay here, to stay young. Your youth will be taken, and you'll die. I like quoting that. Wow, most things in Neverland you have to think it to make it happen. But the Skull Rock is one exception that just comes without thinking about it. Peter Pan says, I will find a way. There has to be a way to stay on this island forever. I will find a way. And the voice is the Peter Pan Shadow's voice says says perhaps. And this is how he's gonna take Henry's heart. You know. No. Fairy Emma was wrong to not believe in your fairy tales, but this is the one time where you have to believe that what is happening now is not true. You're not saving magic. One time you're actually not supposed to believe in magic is now. And nope, Henry just takes out his heart. You came just in time. Stop him from giving Pan his heart. Henry, listen to your family. Adults don't lie. Pan, you're a manipulative teenager. Eternal teenager, I should say. Henry, don't give Pan your heart. True. Emma didn't. Okay. Hurry, time's running out. The hourglass is running out. And our night of Once Upon a Time is running out too. Make a choice, Henry. True. Emma abandoned you. Your father abandoned you. It's easy not to trust them, but they tried to make up for it. Don't give them your heart. Too late. He didn't believe him. He decided to believe Pan in saving magic. But instead of saving magic, he made Pan immortal. Curse broken, but not a curse we want to break. We don't want Pan to be immortal. We don't want to break the chains of death on Pan. Oh no. Now that he's immortal, Henry's dead. Didn't expect that twist, huh? You expected them to save Henry and finish this arc. But I said this was 11 episode arc. And this was only episode 8, so we have 3 more episodes left. They might have saved Henry from Pan, but now they have to save his heart. And that wraps up tonight's episodes. So, yes, I know. I bet you were expecting an epic conclusion there, where Henry does not give him his heart, and they all run away. They run on Hook's ship and escape from Pan. Fortunately, that didn't happen. Henry gave Pan his heart, and now a new quest has happened. They still have to save Henry. His life, at least. But at least they have his body. At least they saved the body of Henry. Now they have to go save his spirit. All right. Which is, I guess, contained in his heart in this case. Well, hopefully they can save Henry in time. If not, well. So, that wraps up tonight's episodes. Any questions, Q&As? Nothing from here. What are the community standards here? Okay, never mind. All right, so nothing's here. Nothing's here. No, we don't want to leave. We don't want to leave Facebook. Okay, good. My live stream's still on. All right, let me see what's over here. No comments or questions. All right, well, that makes our Q&A pretty easy, especially since we already wasted 5 minutes. If there's only 10 minutes left, we wasted 5 minutes because remember when we started the episode on time, we started instead of starting the next one right at 7:45, we started at 7:49, which put us 4 minutes behind. I immediately tried starting the episode 8 right away, but I still had to talk for like at least 1 minute, and we started at 8:35. So instead of 8:30 and 8:35, we got 5 minutes behind schedule. So we lost 5 minutes of our Q&A, but it's okay. No one seemed to have asked questions in the chat. Looks like my grandma though I was responding to comments earlier. My mom said hi, Ben. I responded with a hi, and then secrets tearing loved ones apart is right now. That's back when they were spoiling their secrets in the cave to save Neil. Then Grandma says right before we started episode 8. That's what I was looking at right before we started episode 8. I am late turning in, tuning in, but I will be watching it later. I am on now, and it shows you are still. Oh, I mean, I think she means to say you are still on. Yep, I am. Yeah, and then I said, "Yep, we are about to watch one of the free freetest." I meant to say greatest. A typo there. we're watching one of the greatest episodes in the season. I am your father reveal. Yep, because again, that's when Grandma sent that comment right before we started the episode, and then after we started it, I replied. So anyway, yes, I guess there was comments technically, but I responded to all of them while we were watching. Because first of all, people are complaining that I don't respond to their comments, and then and it's despite me trying to keep convincing you guys that I saved 15 minutes of the live stream at the end to respond to those. No one listens. So anyway, I finally decided to look at the comments every once in a while as we're watching the show. That's what would explain a lot of the silent parts. But I already responded to every comment that was answered, and I didn't check the comment section right after we started episode 8 because that was a big plot reveal episode, and I didn't want to. There was one time I looked away to check halfway through the episode, but towards the second half, I didn't look at it at all. And I'm just saying, throughout that whole episode 8, no one left a comment. My mom and grandma were the only ones that left a comment during episode 7 of our marathon. They didn't leave anything for episode 8. So, well, anyway, that was a good episode of Ariel. A good episode of Ariel and Belle team up. And then we had an episode of the origin stories of Peter Pan and how he abandoned Rumple. I can finally say that without spoiling. Rumple's father abandoned Rumple. Now, he has no reason to abandon Rumple. Rumple is the better hero because he regretted abandoning Bellfire the minute he lost him. Peter Pan had no regrets. He loved being a youth. So he's a selfish, unredeemed hero. I know nothing goes lower, but you can always repent. But Peter Pan, let's just say they never. I know most villains on the show get redeemed, but he's one of the villains that will never get redeemed ever. He's unredeemable. But Peter Pan may be unredeemable, but Rumple isn't. He's redeemable. He does backlash and he does backfire a few times. He backlashes and like his father, he jumps back to his good old ways throughout the series, but he eventually does end on a good note. Peter Pan never does. So yes, Peter Pan's the ultimate villain, not Rumple. I think though Peter Pan, you can have sympathy for him though, because when he was a real child, not when Neverland made him youthful, but when he was a real child, his father sold him to a blacksmith, and he was forced to labor the rest of his life. That was so unfair. Imagine selling your kids to slavery. That's sad. So I could get his. We'll never get a flashback of that, but I can get his point of the story. But unlike him trying to be better than his father, he doesn't succeed in that, and he becomes a worser father to Rumple. And then Rumple becomes the better father. Even though he made the same mistake of abandoning his son, he learned from his father and grandfather's mistake. And so anyway, we got like 5 generations here. The show can go on and on between new characters and their fathers, and those new characters and their fathers. You can go so far. And, because this is a fairy tale land, you can't just assume that it all traces back to Adam and Eve, the first people on Earth, because, that's Earth. These people are from fairy tale lands out on a different planet. So who knows who the first person alive was? Who knows who the first fairy tale character was? You can go on and on. It's forever. You can't explain every single person in the family tree. So as much as you want to get more questions, and you can't expect answers every time. Obviously Rumple's the main character, so we had to get those eventually. But little did people know we would find out about Rumple's father. So just be lucky you have that, because he's not even a main character. We're not, since he's not a main character, we're not going to get his childhood backstory. We're not going to get Peter Pan's childhood backstory. So, anyway, but with that said, it was a good episode. I Am Your Father reveal. It's the Star Wars episode of the season. When Darth Vader reveals, the villain, the antagonist reveals to the protagonist that they're the father of the protagonist. That's a big plot reveal. That has never been used on a show until Star Wars came along, and now everyone uses it. And Once Upon a Time is one of those. There's also the I Am Your Mother things, So, anyway, for a long time, we were hinted that Peter Pan was part of Rumpel's childhood. And I've slipped some words out that maybe you already thought he was Rumpel's father. So I'm sorry if you already got that. But if this caught you by surprise, then I did good at not spoiling on my part, right? We spent literally almost the entire half a season not knowing who he was. I kept just begging. I'm like, I just can't help it. Now I don't have to worry. Burden's off my shoulders. I can't help it. And I did survive, and now I don't have to hide it anymore. I don't have to help it anymore. I can finally say Peter Pan is Rumpel's father. That's the plot twist we've been waiting for all season since the end of season 2. They kept it a secret of who Peter Pan was, and then once we finally at the end of episode 1 got the reveal of who Peter Pan was, the lost boy that was helping Henry escape from Greg and Tamara, we then had to spend another additional 7 episodes, not knowing who his true identity is besides Peter Pan. So now that that's revealed, we have all we need to know, and now it's up for them to get Henry's heart back, and we only have 3 episodes to go. So that's all I have to say for tonight, but since we have 3 minutes, let me tell you the plan for next week. Next week, we're going to finish the Neverland arc. If you're tired of being in Neverland, don't worry. It's only going to last 1 episode. They'll get Henry's heart pretty fast. I'm not going to spoil, but they will get his heart back pretty fast. And then the remainder 2 episodes will be in Storybrooke. But the reason why it's not the end of the Neverland arc is because they defeated Pan on Neverland. But like Korra from season 2, he finds his own way to Storybrooke. I'm not going to spoil how. But, it's a similar situation we had with Emma and Snow White in the Enchanted Forest, where they made it back to Storybrooke, but Korra found her own way. Except season 2 is not a half a season arc. So we had Korra almost for the whole rest of the season until the last few episodes, which were Greg and Tamara. Season 3 is not like that. It's completely season divided. When you watch the second half of season 3, it feels like 2 different seasons, which is why I want to pause halfway through season 3, because there's a time gap. We jump way far into the future after episode 11. I wanted to, kind of like a sequel. It's like, have you seen movies where you watch a movie and then after the original, the sequel takes place years in the future? We're going to jump timelines here momentarily. Not a huge jump. Henry's still a kid, so, to give you a hint, once you're 18, you're an adult, right? We can all go by the law, right? If Henry's a 12-year-old boy, then it's nothing more than a 6-year time jump, because he's not an adult. He's still a kid. So anyway, there's going to be a time jump, and I figured since we have a time jump, that would be a perfect time to review Once Upon a Time in Wonderland. So next week, we're still going to do Once Upon a Time. Let me make that clear. We're still going to do Once Upon a Time, but after next week, we'll start Wonderland. So next week, episode 9, they'll get Henry's heart back, and then Pan will find his own way to Storybrooke. And unlike Korra, that took 8 episodes, Pan will be defeated in Storybrooke within 2 episodes tops. So we will spend 1 episode of them getting off Neverland, and then we'll spend 2 episodes of Peter Pan in Storybrooke. And then they'll finally be gone. Then we'll have the time jump, and we'll stop there for now. The show's not over, though. And let me repeat, next week may feel like a series finale. Everything wraps up in a nice bow, and you think it could be the end of the show. But it's not even a season, but it's not the end of the show. And it's not even a season finale, which it would have been better if it was a season finale. But, since it's only a mid-season finale, I figured, what better way to make these 2 halves of season 3 feel like 2 different seasons than to put a spin-off right in the middle of it. So, we're going to finish the Neverland arc next week. And then, after that, we're going to take a break from Once Upon a Time and watch Once Upon a Time in Wonderland. So far, 1/3 of you voted for Thursdays, which is when Once Upon a Time in Wonderland aired. Some of you who are more on Facebook side and not YouTube have voted for Sundays to keep it on Sundays like our Once Upon a Time marathon is, and that's when Once Upon a Time aired anyway. So it feels nostalgic to watch Once Upon a Time on Sundays, but Once Upon a Time in Wonderland aired on Thursdays. So that's why I gave you guys the option. The only other day I can do Once Upon a Time is on Once Upon a Time in Wonderland is on Tuesdays. That's the only other day I don't work. So I have a pull up. Try to get more people to vote. It's a tie between all three of those: Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday. So there's no telling if the Sunday after next week we'll do Wonderland. We'll have to see what everyone votes. We need to get more votes because we have a three-way tie. But yeah, starting next week, we'll finish the Neverland arc on Sunday, 6:50. It was episodes 9, 10, and 11. So get your game on. Hashtag save Henry and his heart. And then hashtag Pan never fails. Hashtag Belle is back, Be ready for next week. I look forward to talking to you guys next week. And with that, we will end the live stream marathon. Sorry, I've gone a minute over time. I saw that it was 9:29 and I need to wrap things up. But apparently I needed more than 1 minute to wrap things up. Now that you know what's going on next week, we're going to finish the Neverland arc first. And in the following week after that, we'll start our fall season with Wonderland arc. I know some people are going back to school this week, but it's still summer for me. So one more week of summer, one more week of Neverland, and then we'll finally get to Wonderland. So anyway, Neverland, Wonderland. Get what I said there? All right, I'm going to stop now. It's 9:32, and this recording has been 2 hours and 42 minutes. 2 minutes overtime is quite enough. So I'm going to end live stream on Facebook first and then YouTube. But like I said, I'm not going to repeat my goodbyes, so let's do it all at once. Goodbye, everyone. See you next week. God be with you till we meet again. All right, until we finish the Neverland arc. Bye.